Hey everyone, welcome to my second annual coaster trip planning of the year, 2025 edition. I know that some of these things that you're about to hear may sound pretty similar to what I posted last year, but plans changed. I did a bunch of other trips. There'll be a little playlist right up there or whatever. Make sure you check them all out. And I'm planning to do some sort of recap video for 2024 in the near future. So make sure you guys subscribe to see I go live. Anyways, I wanted to get this one out a little bit earlier just because one thing that I'm about to announce is happening at the end of this month. So yeah, let's go into that one first, shall we? Redemption Tour. This early season trip that I'm doing at the end of March is basically a couple of parks that have burned me in the past and have seen some new additions over the years. Starting things off, we're going down to Charlotte, Carolinas for Carowinds. You guys may remember the last video I posted. I was open to close on a very busy day that it was rainy. So long and short of it, I got on about 3 or 4 rides throughout the entire day, and Fury 325, the big bad coaster that everyone says is like the best steel coaster in the world or whatever, I got in line for that thing like 3 or 4 times throughout the day. Every single time, about halfway through that line, it closed down. So I don't know if I caught it on just a bad day or whatever, but I think I'm one of the best steel coasters in the world still, so super excited for that. Also, a couple of other new things for me down there, like their other B&M hyper coaster. Fortunately, the new for the season Planet Snoopy upgrade won't be ready quite yet. It looks like we're still in construction phases, but this is a park that I can get to somewhat easily, especially if my future plans where I may or may not move somewhere in that region will do something on that in the future come to fruition. So yeah, I'm not too worried about just missing out on a launch kiddie coaster. That said, elephant in the room, I can't not say it. Let's just say it for all these parks I'm about to mention, if any of them go under that umbrella. Rest in peace attractions. Losing a big coaster sucks, especially something as innovative as Nighthawk being that first flying coaster. I did get to ride it previously, so I do have the credit, and Firehawk's more dear to my heart because obviously Kings Island, but always sucks. Six Flags gonna be Six Flags. I'm not gonna go into that too into detail here. Definitely excited to see what they do with that massive plot of land in the future. Honestly, it looks like it's 2 areas between the flat rides and the coaster being removed. They have room to get that big super flume thing, which they definitely need because the park currently doesn't have a water ride in the dry park. That said, park number 2 on the trip, we'll be going over to Atlanta, which I guess we'll just say 2 things, one real quick, because first of all, last 2 times I went down there, I have gone twice in the last few years to Fun Spot Atlanta because I was in the area for doing Card Fight Vanguard tournaments, and both those times I have been burned by Air Force One. Supposedly one of the best RMCs in the world. Looks to have a pretty killer layout, honestly, especially if that thing tears through its elements as fast as I think it's going to. Yeah, I need that credit. That's gonna be like quick in and out. The rest of the park, let's be real, but yeah, I need to go on Air Force One, so that's gonna happen while I'm in the area for Six Flags. I've been down there in so long. Oh my god. Six Flags over Georgia, one of the better Six Flags parks, I think, just because of things like Monster Mansion, that insanely themed dark ride, water ride, which I've been on once in the past before the refurb. It's pretty cool. Can't wait to check out what they've done with it since then. Couple new things for me here in terms of coasters. We have Daredevil Dive, that custom, was that Gerstlauer? Dive coaster mini kind of thing. It's basically a dive coaster if you think about it. Eurofighter, that's what they're called. Looks to have a pretty cool layout. I know I've seen that there's a near clone in Europe, which I would love to get to one day, but let's be real here, we're talking US parks today. Daredevil Dive looks pretty cool. I'm probably gonna have to rush there first thing in the morning, I assume, because that's probably gonna have a long line. We were talking RMCs in Atlanta. Guess what, they have one there too. Probably a little more excited for Air Force One, honestly, because it's supposedly one of the best. But I'm gonna go on Twist Cyclone. It looks cool. A little short, but it packs. Freaking double turnaround version. That's like, was it like a reverse boomerang or something? The Outer Bank stall. I have to go on an RMC that truly uses that Outer Bank stall. I know Lightning Rod kind of has it. I know Outlaw kind of has it. That really signifies it like that. Can't wait. And of course, they just have a good lineup. Midland Mindbender used to be really good. I've heard it's gotten better since the modifications, but it used to be really good. They have one of the better Batmans, Goliath, which sporting new paint job. Can't wait. Bainham, my boys. I have not mentioned this yet, but Bainham Solutions, the people that paint coasters and launch attractions, right across the street from me, literally a few blocks away. I drive past them all the time, and I would love to somehow get a job there and be part of media ministry again. But they've actually gone to town painting stuff for them, from Goliath. It looks like Acrophobia, the really cool drop tower, which I'm a little sad about because I'm waiting to hear back from Six Flags. I posted on their social medias when they posted the renovation because it looks really cool. I love the airstrip lighthouse kind of theme to it, but because it's getting repainted, I'm a little hesitant it will be open, which is a bummer because that is a really cool, unique drop ride that gets you to the top, You tilt your seat forward so you're looking straight at the ground and it just drops. It was really cool. Probably one of my favorite drop towers from when I went there before. If I know kid, I know kid. I've been on it before. I would love to re-experience this ride though if it is open. Just a really good Six Flags park. There's a handful of things I'd love to re-ride, a couple of new coasters. And speaking of which, Georgia Surfer Gold Rush or whatever they're calling it these days. Brand new ride that should be opening with the park because it was basically testing last year. So we'll check out anything, reporting that to you guys. That's basically that trip. Of course, as always, driving down to that area means I'm gonna go right through Pigeon Forge. This is the area that I usually stop in pretty much once a year or two, so don't know if I'm going to be stopping in Dollywood. Really, the only thing I need to do there is the chain lift version of Lightning Rod, but I'm never complaining about a trip to Dollywood, and even if I don't do that, there's plenty of stuff in the area to check out, so make sure you're looking for a general Pigeon Forge update. I know one thing I'm really looking forward to is their new racing mountain coaster. That'll be really cool. It says opening this spring. I have yet to see a date on that, but it's constant construction on it. Don't think it'll be in the March, but I mean, I will definitely be going down there at some point in the future to check it out when it opens up. So that is the first trip of the year. I did want to do that one before anything else because next one is a biggie. This is something that I've been hinting to for years. I honestly think the first one in this playlist is like a detailed version of the old version of the trip. I've just been holding it back for Coaster Landmark, and I think this is the year. This is the time. We got 379 right now. Number 400 is going to be the Coney Island Cyclone. This is going to happen. It's no longer just a fun trip ideas happening. This is happening June or July. I'm still looking into dates a little bit, so if you guys have any suggestions, comment down below. Good time to check out most of the parks I'm about to mention. Starting things off, of course, we're going to Pennsylvania because I am going to be road tripping this. I have to stop at Knoebels. Let's be real. I have to stop at Knoebels. You guys already know it's one of my favorite small parks. Freaking Phoenix. Wait a second. I show this. I have to show this every single time just because I love this ride so much. The Baby, one of my favorite coasters of all time. Make sure you check out my top 25 that I posted recently because it's on there somewhere. Only reason I'm a little sad I'm going down there now and not later is I want to take my dog Coney there because it's a dog friendly park. Unfortunately, this is the first step in a giant road trip, so I don't think she's going to be joining me for a week on the road. We'll have to do it again later. Maybe a Halloween event. I wonder if I could take her to that. That might be fun. A couple of things that are there for me and a couple of things I missed out during my last encounter. Unfortunately, it was during COVID season, so things were closed, waiting on parts. Black Diamond, the refurbished dark ride coaster, and then there's two rides that are currently waiting on parts / being rebuilt when I was there. Impulse, which it looks good. It just feels like it sticks out as a sore thumb in that kind of park where everything's refurbished, homemade, TLC everywhere. This is like an off-the-shelf Zero. Whatever. It's a good looking ride, and like the park doesn't have any versions besides that. So Impulse and the last one, something I've been not burned on twice, but the first time it was under construction, the second time they were modifying it. Flying Curves, one of the world's only true toboggan style roller coasters that goes through the big wooden thorough. Totally unique. This one's house built. Can't wait to check it out. And of course, I don't need any reason. I don't need a reason. I just need to go back to Knoebels at any point in time. Phoenix is there. They have freaking Cosmotron, the most plussed up Himalaya ride ever. They got a good log flume. They're a nice wood setting. It's just a fun park to go to. All I can say is it's one of the most well-run, small, independent parks in the world that I've been to. And I'll make any excuse to go back there. Of course, while I'm in that area, this time we're stopping at Dorney Park. I haven't been there since 2007-ish, back when I was in college and did like a real quick road trip. I mean, there's not much to say about this park, unfortunately, because it doesn't get that much love all the time, but what I remember, they had some pretty fun rides. Hydra's pretty fun. Their Morgan Hypercoaster's pretty cool. And yeah, they did get a new steampunk themed dive coaster last year, and you know I gotta check that out because I'm all about steampunk here. Iron Man looks really cool. It's just a fun park to go to. It's on the way and it's company credits. So looking forward to that. Again, I haven't been in nearly 2 decades and I've not recorded it yet on camera. So you guys are gonna get a brand new vlog from that park. Of course, we got one more stop before we get to Coney Island proper, just to get my number of credits correct, because Coney Island's gonna have about 8 there, and I'll still be looking at about 10 after Dorney Park. We're gonna be checking out something that I've been wanting to check out since it opened, and I just need that excuse. I feel like whenever I go to Coney Island, I have to go check out this park, and that is the American Dream Mall / Nickelodeon Universe. I've heard mixed reviews about the same. Not excited that admission is going to be super expensive and that its big coaster is currently SBNO for the last year. It's still a new experience. Even without the Trailblazer, they still got a couple of cool coasters, including a pretty unique looking Intamin launch coaster. And I mean, it's still a Mall of America. Even if I can't experience everything, I can still take a day and just like go over all the attractions in the mall, from like the mini golf, the water park, the freaking snowboarding. Oh my goodness gracious. You guys may not know because I don't really talk about it too much, but back in the day I used to be all about extreme sports. I was an avid snowboarder. Like I used to have a snowboard, but it just had had the step-in bindings and I grew out of those, so I never got a new one. They have an indoor freaking skiing section, and if I have the time to and the money to, I would love to go snowboarding for a little inside. That'd be pretty cool. Huge mall. I've been to Mall of America once in the past, and I can't wait to see what Mall of America West has in store for me. The fact that it also has the world's steepest roller coaster and a handful of other attractions to check out is just a nice bonus to that. If it's open, please, you have like a month or two, please fix whatever's broken with it. Takabisha's fine. I don't know what they did to American Takabisha. Then we got the big boy. I mean, I've said it already, you already know. Coney freaking Island. That's half the reason my dog named the way she is. This is one of the most historical amusement parks in the world, being like the birthplace of the modern amusement park. Even now that everything's been redone, the futuristic whatever, it's essentially a testing ground for Zamperla. So it still proves itself as basically a testing ground for amusement industry, if you think about it that way. Plenty of things to do there. There's Dino's Wonder Wheel, which has, of course, the famous Wonder Wheel. I've been on its near clone once at DCA, so there's that Disney video. That was a fun place. Phoenix looks fun. You already know how I am about Phoenixes. And of course, the main attraction itself, giant boardwalk park. Plenty of stuff to do. The legendary Cyclone. It has to be number 400. This is the definition of a classic coaster. Super old. I think it's over 100 now. Triple bench ride, floated airtime. I've been on a couple of the clones, especially at Six Flags Great America, and that was a pretty fun ride, so I can't wait to see what the original has in store for me, especially with a different train. This thing's gonna be awesome. I cannot wait. I've literally been planning this trip for years and just never done it for one reason or another, so that is the goal of the year, is to go to Coney Island. Of course, I'm stuck in New York, so how do I get back home? Second half of the trip, this is honestly a really big one. So if any time I've ever said this, if you want to help support me on this channel so I can afford to go to all these awesome parks and bring you all this good content, make sure to drop me a tip on Ko-Fi. You know, it's like Patreon, but not as cool, I guess. I feel like I should make a Patreon at some point. I just need to figure out goals and stuff. But we have a couple of ways to get back to Ohio from there. First of all, we got the laneway. I mean, I'm just going over this real quick because already in New York, there's a handful of places to check out. Adventureland, Darien Lake, Legoland. I can go back to Lake Compounds like I was at last year. Going back through Pennsylvania and New Jersey, I have not mentioned Six Flags yet. I originally was going to put Six Flags Great Adventure on this list. I still might. It's just going to have to happen after Coney Island and we'll figure out the loop or whatever. Can I put my 2 cents in here real quick about what's happened to one of the better Six Flags parks? How do I phrase this in a positive way so I don't get blocked by Six Flags? I'm still allowed to be a social media person. Rest in peace, Kingda Ka. This was a bucket list thing for me for the longest time. I'm born and raised in Ohio, so I've been on Dragster plenty of times. Haven't been on Dragster 2 yet. Spoilers. But my one visit there during the state college road trip that I went to for Dorney Park, I only got to go on like 75% of the attractions just because it was a very busy day. So one of the things I did not get to do was Kingda Ka, especially because it was pretty early in its lifetime and, you know, long lines or whatever. I will never experience the King, unfortunately. Glory to all those that you have. Looked like it was awesome, but I mean, I'm comparing it to like a better direction with the Airtime Hill, so yeah, obviously they've had some changes over the last season. Cannot wait to see what they get for the new thing, because they're looking up to a big celebration. Even with that, though, like Austin Park, El Toro, as you guys may know, is one of the best wind coasters in the world. I unfortunately forgot everything about it because I went on Phoenix the day after on my original trip, so my bad. It needs redemption. Obviously, they also have a single rail RMC. It's kind of like the Wonder Woman I went on Six Flags Magic Mountain, so that was pretty cool. A couple new credits I've been on there, plus the new Flash. I love New Vekomas. Can't wait to see what one of the launch boomerangs looks like. I just, after what's happened, it feels a little weird going to the park right now. That's all I'm gonna say. I might still do it because we are gonna be in the area and there's still a handful of stuff to do, but not priority for the time being. What is priority though, if I don't do the way of going back the way I came through Pennsylvania, hitting up Hershey Park to get on Wildcats Revenge, that's the only new credit for me over there. You know how I was mentioning international trips last year? Spoilers, I probably want to do an international trip sometime in the next few years to get to number 500. I feel like that'd be a really cool way to do that last important landmark. International? There's another nation that's right above us, right next to New York, and right above Ohio. It's called Canada. They got some things up there. So this is going to be just a good way to head back home. Obviously, there'll be a day in Niagara Falls / the Niagara Park that's right there. Gene Staples, what up? Can't wait to check out some comment. A little bit of a sour note there, obviously, is Marineland. Do I need to say anything about Marineland? I would love for some note to pop up in the next few months saying that, oh hey, we're opening our coasters and come check them out. Because Dragon Mountain, me as an Aero fan, I would love to check out the Steel Beast. That has a really awkward layout, and they have really interesting drop tower over there as well that you can see from Niagara Falls. But unfortunately, the park's not been the best in the last few years. The coasters have been probably not up, so probably not hitting Marineland. But if it is open, sure, why not? The important part is we get to have a nice cultural day in Niagara Falls and check out a couple weird touristy attractions. It's like the Pigeon Forge of Niagara Falls. What is important though, that's in Canada, that I can reach pretty easily from Niagara Falls, is a nice little area called Valn that I probably just mispronounced. And as a long-time Cedar Fair pass holder, / I guess now Six Flags, one of their better parks and one of the biggest coaster parks in the area. Freaking Canada's Wonderland. We got 18 coasters here, which will round out this trip to a nice 43-ish new credits, give or take. A brand new, state-of-the-art, launched mountain braking coaster goes through a mountain. That's what I'm trying to say. Alpine Fury looks amazing. I cannot wait to experience that if I get a chance to. And even without, it's just a giant park. They got a couple of massive B&Ms. Wonder Mountain is a super unique experience. A themed clone of the Bat that actually has some nice interaction with it, and a handful of other things. So that'll be a massive. That'll be like probably a 2-day experience, I feel like, just because it's that big of a park. Comment below, once again, tips for any of these, because half these parks I've never been to. And of course, to go full circle, you know how it being as like Carowinds and them not having their Snoopy coaster up and running, the original one, it's right here in Canada, so I can at least ride one of the launch family coasters this year, I guess. And finally, on the way home, I mean, why not? Cedar Point's right on the way back if you drive through that part of Michigan down through Ohio to get back towards my area. So I mean, I haven't done the Cedar Point trip in a couple years, honestly. There's a couple new things for me there. The Wild Mouse, I haven't checked out the new boardwalk yet. They have 2 new coasters opening up this year. Like I said before, I have yet to be on Top Thrill 2 because obviously it's open for like, what, 2 weeks maybe? And I didn't get to the park in those 2 weeks. If it does open back up, the Imperial, please fix whatever the issue was. I mean, that's obvious. One of the world's tallest and fastest coasters has been reborn as one of the world's tallest and fastest until Falcon's Fury opens up or whatever. The new reverse spike looks insane. I can't imagine the hang time and the head chopper on that thing. I would love to see how the rides change from a single high-powered launch to a swing launch, connected boomerang, impulse coaster, whatever you want to call it. New seating that high up off the track changed the Heartline a lot, so it feels like it's going to be a completely different experience for me than Top Thrill Dragster was. And of course, more importantly, I say having a mixed feeling about this coaster. Siren's Curse. If you guys want to hear my full thoughts on this, I will do a video on it in the future. So make sure to comment Siren's Curse down below and like it or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I don't really do single coaster breakdowns, but I do have enough feelings on this one. Siren's Curse looks insane. The fact that I am getting a tilt coaster so close to home is going to be crazy. I know that previously there was very few of these things. There's like, what, one in Taiwan, something like that. It is the Instagram coaster, just that track that you get to the end and that the most photogenic thing in the world. Everyone's gonna see it and oh my god, what do you want to see? It's a gimmick, ladies and gentlemen. We all know what it does. It's still a really cool looking coaster. I know there's a lot of interesting elements on this thing. From the POV renderings, it looks like it's gonna absolutely slap. Lighting package, sound package, all plus it up, always good. Just the TLDR of whenever I do my breakdown video, I feel like it should have gone to a different park, honestly. I'm not saying that Cedar Point doesn't deserve it. I'm just saying its placement in the park and the park's notoriety and several other parks in the chain that could use something like this. That's all I'm saying. Still a great looking ride. Between that and Dragster, that is reason enough to go to the park alone. And as always, once again, going back to my top 25, several of my top 10 coasters are in this park. I never have a reason not to go to Cedar Point. I just haven't gone in a couple of years. So those are my big 2 trips for the year. Fortunately, I do have one more little guy planned out. Unfortunately, it looks like I'm going to have a very busy summer because of the hours on these places. And that means that my off season is going to suck. But California, I've been there a couple times. There's playlists maybe if I don't post it. And I went once with my family way back in the day, but I didn't really do any coaster stuff except for a boardwalk in Santa Cruz. And I plan to go back to that area now. Case in point, anyone in the industry knows, but I'll just break it down real quick for those of you that are new to this thing. California's Great America, once again another Six Flags park, has been on the chopping block for a couple of years now. We know that the land's been bought out. We know the park will close. We do not know when. So it's just a ticking time bomb of when it could possibly close. I've seen a couple of good theories are saying that 2028 is the minimum just because they'd have to give us a couple of years of notice legally. So I'm not as worried about this. But also with Six Flags' recent ability to min-max their properties, let's just say. And a recent call that said they are possibly thinking about selling off some properties. A little more worried about that being a sooner than later here, so I would like to get there faster than I can. This is once again something I'm looking at because during that family trip, I did have the opportunity to visit the park for a day. It just required a lot more planning than was needed at the time, and I ultimately did not go. So, Gold Striker. Awesome looking GCI. You guys know I love Amusement twisters. They have another single rail RMC, which is one of the prototype clones. I've not gone on the prototype layout yet, so I would love to experience this. And they have a handful of other cool looking coasters, including one I'm probably more excited for is their Top Gun clone, Afterbird, whatever it's called now. Nice looking park. Also, they have a Demon clone. It's really cool to go to the second Marriott original park after going to Six Flags Great America so many times. So I'd love to compare and contrast the two. It's just, I hate that I'm rushing myself to do it, especially after a pretty packed summer, as you guys can already see. So that's going to happen, and while I'm in the area, revisit the boardwalk. Like I said, I mean, I'm in the area, I might as well go check it out again. Giant Dipper's really cool, and I was only in the park for a little bit thanks to everything the family was doing, so I wanted to take some time to properly break it down for y'all and experience some of the things that aren't just coasters. They're like the really cool looking dark rides and the big mini golf section in the arcades. There's a lot of stuff at Santa Cruz that I've yet to experience, so I'm in the area, might as well, you know? Then finally, final thing on the trip, final thing I had planned for the year. While I'm in the area, while we're talking Six Flags, I have a Six Flags pass. I may as well check it out. Discovery Kingdom. I mean, this one I'm a little mixed on because there's no big e-ticket ride for me to go to, whatever. I mean, there's still like a good 9 new coasters down there, and there's a couple good ones. I mean, they have a nice floatless coaster, they have an RMC, and last big bummer I'm going to mention is their version of Flash Impulse Coaster, which I've been on a couple of these. Rest in peace, Wicked Twister. But this one's pretty unique because thanks to the height clearance that they have, they actually took the spike. It's like on what, a 45-degree angle, something like that. So it's a really flat looking spike. You can basically count it as an inline twist. Really cool. It's been SBNO since last year, unfortunately. So another one where like hopefully they fix whatever is wrong with it. But if I don't experience it, I don't experience it. If I do, super awesome. So that is my big plans for 2025. Like I say a couple times, if you have any comments for any of these parks, any suggestions, any tips, tricks, make sure to comment them down below. I've only gone to what, 4 of these parks in the past, maybe a couple more if we do the non-Canadian trip back home from New York. And yeah, I'm just super excited. In terms of credits, in terms of new coasters, we're looking at about close to 100 coasters this year. 80 to 68 of those will be new. So we're definitely reaching over 400. I am definitely, no matter what, my number one goal is Coney Island Cycling number 400 this year. And that's setting me up for a good pace to maybe in the next few years finally do a freaking international trip. I would love to one day go to like Europe or Japan or something. Once again, if you like what I do here and want to see more coaster content, make sure to drop me a tip on Ko-Fi that goes towards these trips, so I can afford to go to these places. And of course, while I'm shouting things out, I'm not going to tell you guys to subscribe because let's be real, YouTube or whatever algorithm, drop me a like if you enjoy this content. I'm probably over 300 subscribers and I'm super happy about that, but I would love to keep growing this channel into something that I could do as a full-time job eventually and bring you more cool attraction content. That's right, we are not just doing theme parks anymore. I want to branch out. I want to do more travel type stuff, especially Pigeon Forge. You know, it's not just all coasters, it's playing cool things. Same with Niagara Falls. I might just start doing more touristy and general videos as well on this channel. So if you want to see those, I'm not going to say it again. Look forward to some more mini golf, roadside attractions, that kind of stuff in the future. But until next time, I got a lot of planning to do for all these trips. So always embrace the infinite.